Hello everybody, welcome back. This is a contest entry for Larry Graves, also known as the Canadian Studmuffin, his channel name, who is celebrating 20 years here on YouTube. He has a very busy schedule of putting out videos. That guy puts out, I think, 2 videos a day between his 2 channels. And yeah, is never short on content for sure. Larry has been very generous to me over the last few years that I've known him. I've done live streams with him. We've sent each other a couple of gifts, and yeah, just a really nice guy. So Larry, congrats on 20 years on YouTube. That's insane. Yeah, you don't look a day over 25. Anyway, he's got a few prompts here. This was kind of difficult because Larry, as you might know, is a big fan of ranking. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. I know there are a lot of channels that don't like ranking at all. They just can't physically do it. I do some of it, not a ton, but I do a good bit. But anyway, the first thing he wants us to do is to shout out 3 other YouTube channels that we enjoy watching. Now, I decided to go with 3 channels that could use some more subscribers. I think they have a lot of good content. So this is, these aren't necessarily my favorite channels. They aren't, oh yeah, these are the only channels for me. These are all 3 friends of mine who I think deserve a lot more love. So in no particular order, I'm going to shout out my buddy Ernest Eldridge, Ernie, the Trailer Park Pimp down there in North Carolina. I've done videos for him a couple different times. Yeah, just a really nice guy. Tons of great music. That guy is a library of country rock, roots, Americana, country. Yeah, just a really sweet guy. So Ernie, go check out his channel if you like that kind of stuff. Randall Nelson, Randy, over there in Kansas City. He is, fairly consistent with content. Sometimes he'll go away for a few weeks, take a trip around the world, as you should do if you've got the time. Go ahead and do it. But Randy does some good content. He does this series that is still ongoing where he is showing his favorite TV show, movie, album, song, etc. from a particular year. And he's done like 30 years already. So it's really cool stuff. So go check out Randy. Very smart guy, very intelligent. And I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person a few years back. Last but certainly not least, my buddy Rich Strickler at the Rich Strickler channel. Let's get Rich some subs this year. Love Rich to death, great friend. Again, all sorts of, I talk about him all the time. We've done tons of collaborations. You've seen him on my channel. I've been all over his channel. Again, very smart guy. He loves sports and music. I mean, sports and movies as much as he loves music, if not more. Just a really good guy. He collaborates with a lot of people. So Rich Strickler, Randall Nelson, and Ernest Eldridge, the Trailer Park Pimp. Go check them all out. All great guys and friends of mine. Next, Larry wants us to rank our top 5 favorite bands. This was tough for me. I kind of went with the groups that are legacy acts and then some modern groups. So number 5, I put the Wood Brothers. I talk about the Wood Brothers all the time. Great Americana roots music. Number 4, the Avett Brothers. Again, I've seen both of those groups several times. Scott and Seth Avett and their band are fantastic. Again, kind of roots, Americana, folk, a little bit of rock, good stuff. Number 3, the Beach Boys. I share this love with Larry. I've done some Beach Boys content with Larry before. I just think the Beach Boys are brilliant, especially Brian Wilson. I'm a huge Brian Wilson fan. So the Beach Boys are number 3. Number 2, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They're my favorite American band by far. Love them. Tom Petty's such an inspiration to me, and he's one of those guys that I miss so much. And then number 1, the easy answer, the way out, the Beatles. I always try to be cool and say, oh no, the Beatles are my favorite, but I don't mention the Beatles because that's a given. But in this case, because Larry's a Beatles guy, Beatles for sure, number 1. Number 3, Larry wants us to show or to rank our 5 favorite solo artists or solo acts. Number 5, I went with Pokey LaFarge, who I've seen many times. Just saw him a couple months ago in Richmond, Virginia. Great stuff. He's very prolific. He's always putting out stuff. fantastic, unique talent, Pokey LaFarge. Number 4, one of my favorite songwriters ever, Mr. John Prine. Again, I've talked about Prine ad nauseum on this channel, so I don't need to say more other than I just think he is one of the best that ever was, and I'm so grateful I got to see him one time in concert. Number 3, Paul Simon. Love Paul. All sorts of great music. He's one of those guys that's never really put out a bad album. Just so unique. I mean, obviously, so many great songs with Art Garfunkel, but his solo career in particular for this prompt, just fantastic. I mean, too many hits and great songs to mention. So, Paul Simon. Number 2, Van Morrison. Again, I love Van. Saw Van in 2018. That was a dream come true for me. Saw him with my mom. Yeah, love Van. I'm a completist with all of his stuff. And number 1, again, no surprise for people that watch my channel, Bob Dylan. He's number 1. He's the greatest artist, in my opinion, that's ever lived. So Bob Dylan, number 1 for me. Number 4, Larry wants us to show our 5 favorite albums. This was tough, but what I kind of did with this, because I would have had to think for weeks on end to figure out my current favorite 5. I kind of went with albums from artists on this list because they're my favorite artists, therefore pick my favorite albums by some of them. So at number 5, I went with Into the Great Wide Open by, this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This was the follow-up to Full Moon Fever, which was Tom Petty's solo record. Produced by Jeff Lynne. All sorts of great stuff on here. The deep cuts on here. The Dark of the Sun. Out in the Cold. King's Highway. Fantastic stuff. Into the Great Wide Open, number 5. Number 4, Paul Simon, Graceland. Absolutely adore this record. It's a 10 out of 10 record for me. Got to see Paul again in 2018. And doing the songs from this album, in the set list were concert highlights for sure. Lots of African influence on here. Back in the 80s when apartheid was running rampant in Africa. But Graceland is just, it's a beautiful record. Absolutely love it. Number 3, this was a purchase from earlier this year. I didn't own it on vinyl. It's Blood on the Tracks by Bob. This is the Mo-Fi version. It was a really good price, but I think it's just a masterpiece. And it's funny because when I rank my favorite Bob Dylan songs, oftentimes I don't pick any songs from this album. It's one of those instances where the album fits as a whole. And, it's a no skip for me. Even the song Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. Love that track. You have Simple Twist of Fate, Tangled Up in Blue. So many good tunes on here. Idiot Wind. So Blood on the Tracks. Number 2. This is the first record I ever owned on vinyl. Abbey Road, the Beatles. Their final studio album, technically. Nothing else can be said about it. It's a masterpiece. Side 2 is the best thing ever recorded in pop music. And I'll go to my grave with that. Abbey Road. And then number 1, again, no surprise for anybody, is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. This is the 50th anniversary mono edition that was put out in 2016. So next year is the 60th. So maybe we'll be seeing some more Pet Sounds related stuff. I think that'd be great. I would love for them to reissue a box set or something. But Pet Sounds, God only knows my favorite song of all time is on here, but just a masterpiece. Brian Wilson, so brilliant at 24 years old. So that's my number 1. And then lastly, Larry wants us to talk about our favorite concert and our least favorite concert. So I'll start with my least favorite. It's kind of, I kind of went with this with 2 different angles. The first band that I'm going to mention is a group called Abbey Road Live. They were a Beatles tribute band. I won tickets to see them on the radio. I don't go to tribute shows as a rule, especially if I've seen the artists that they were paying tribute to before. I don't want to ruin the memory. But it was a free show. I had an extra ticket. I went with my mom. They were playing the small venue at the Harvester in Rocky Mount, Virginia. I talk about that a lot. They were not that great. Their voices were not strong. I thought for sure that they would have at least one strong vocalist. They did not. And then they were surprised when people cheered for an encore, and then they start coming out and playing TV theme songs like the Jeffersons and Good Times. And it was weird. So they were not the greatest. In terms of big famous artists, the worst concert I ever went to was Gordon Lightfoot. the second time that I saw him with my dad, just about a year before Gordo passed away. Gordo was not the issue. It was that my dad and I had some chumps behind us that talked the entire show. And at the end of the night, they were wanting to hear the song Time in a Bottle, which, news alert, is a Jim Croce tune. So they talked the entire night. I was so angry. The whole show ruined it for me. So if y'all are watching this, shame on you. Favorite concert, Paul Simon, 2018. Saw that with my mom. It was a birthday gift that I got for her. It was on his Homeward Bound farewell tour. Huge highlight. Again, he did Boy in the Bubble. He did Graceland. Hearing him do Bridge Over Troubled Water kind of solo. He did Renee and Georgette Magritte with their dog after the war. But when he hit, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes and went right into You Can Call Me Al, that was fantastic. And then him coming out solo doing Sound of Silence and Homeward Bound, it was bliss. The whole show was fantastic. Saw him in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Coliseum down there. But anyway, there you go. Again, I've got Larry's information below to the contest if you want to hop on. The drawing is in early February, I believe. So be sure to go check him out. He's a very nice guy. Puts out a ton of content. I'm sure you'll like at least something that he's posting. So that does it for me. In the meantime, y'all be good. Take care. And we will see you on the next one. Bye now.